Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo.
On this episode of the History of the Course podcast with Curtis and Josh, we finish our look at the band from Franklin, Tennessee, known as Paramore. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurvivedByPro for news and latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show, leave us a 5-star review, and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. Make sure to check us out on TikTok and give us a follow at IsSurvivedByProductions. And if you'd like to see us do some live streams, leave us a comment or tweet us the keyword stream. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta, army surrounded.
I said I was going to take some flowers to my neighbor. Oh my god.
I was about to say, wait, could you hear that?
I just looked over at you and was like, what the fuck?
That was bad timing. I really had to blow my nose, though.
Oh man.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Redo.
Alright, take two. Said I was going to take some flowers to my neighbor, but I ran out of time. Didn't want to show up to the party empty-handed, but I ran out of time. I said I'd walk the dog a little further in the driveway tonight, the extra mile. Thought I'd send a card with my condolences, but damn, just ran out of time.
Oh man, so close. Just the watch, bro. The time. Have you seen the time lately? Welcome back to the History of the Course podcast, sponsored by the Church of the Seven Track, where each and every episode we are taking a look at the history of a band from the core genre. I'm Curtis. With me, as always, is my co-host with the funky lyrics. What up, Josh? Do the dance.
What's up?
Do the Williams dance. Do the Williams dance now. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. How's it going over there?
Going pretty good. It's going pretty good. Did you enjoy your day
Whatever
of
festival you're at over there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I got here, but I'm enjoying it.
Fire
I'm enjoying
Island
my
2.
time. Huh?
I said Fire Island 2.
Fire Island 2. I'm on the cruise ship, the Paramore cruise.
The Paramore Cruise. Of course.
Yeah. Did you enjoy your day of listening to Paramore?
I did.
Some funkadelic Paramore?
Yes.
Some good stuff, man. Some good stuff.
Yeah. I remember
It's interesting.
Yeah. I remember thinking when After Laughter came out, just like the first listen through, just kind of like, huh, at the end of it. Like literally just that feeling. I wasn't like, oh my God, yes. And I wasn't like, this is terrible.
You're
I was
just
just like,
I
huh.
don't know what to say.
Yeah. I was confused. I mean, in retrospect,
I didn't hate it and I didn't like it. I was just confused.
I was just left confused.
That's probably
In
the first time I've ever heard
retrospect,
that music.
looking back, we saw the signs going to kind of this turn
Right.
in
Yeah.
the music. And I also feel like they're one of the rare cases that we've talked about where they completely change directions and it really works. Like it works for them,
Yeah, it works for them. It fits their characters, like the three of them, I feel like. I mean, they really embraced it and it feels like it's just natural,
Yeah. And
So
some cases when a band changes their sound, I feel like it's not necessary. But for them, it almost felt like a means of survival too, because realistically, how many albums does a band have where they write the way they did for the first two?
Right.
How many times can you reproduce that album, those concepts and themes? Like, I feel like it doesn't, it can't go super far. So,
Right. You're gonna run out of fuel.
Yeah. Creatively, I think it was, something they decided to do, like a conscious gear shift,
Yeah,
like this is what we want to do now, this is what we enjoy. But I also
right,
feel like, yeah, that was, be it, whichever happened first, I lean more towards them saying like stylistically, we just want to go more this way now. And then that also happened to be what kind of kept them alive, you
right.
know.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's
Well,
not
we'll
get too
talk a little
bogged
bit.
down.
I'm about
Let's
to say
not, yeah.
we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. But as always, we got to start off with our what did you listen to this week? So, Josh, why don't you start us off? I asked you the question. What did you listen to this week?
Well, Curtis,
Ooh,
I did
he couldn't get
listen
enough of
to,
Coheed last week.
yes, I went back to the well of Coheed because I haven't, I told you I haven't listened to those albums in probably a year, maybe 2 years.
Right.
And I busted out Silent Earth 3 last week, and it really got me in the Coheed way. So I had to go back to Good Apollo, I Am Burning, Star 4, Volume 1, Curtis, Fear Through the Eyes of Madness.
Now, did you listen to the special edition? Because that's the one you have behind you there.
Um, I
I
don't
only say that because
remember.
I was trying to read all the little writing, make sure it was like the title of the album, and then I got to the very end. It was a special edition. Oh, okay. Why do you
Yeah,
have to
I'm
put
trying to
special edition in there?
remember what the bonus tracks were on the special one. Oh, the special one might have been the one that came with the DVD. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
probably with the DVD.
Yeah.
Because especially at that time, because what was that? 2005 that came out. It was either 5 or 6. At that time, it feels like special editions, deluxe editions, whatever you want to call them, usually we're giving you a DVD now.
Right.
That seemed to be the trend at that time instead of deluxe edition, just a bunch of bonus tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, you had that out there, but it seemed more at that time that it was here's a DVD,
Yeah.
live set, music videos, give
I
us
was
your money.
I was gonna say when I said I went back to the well of Coheed, I was gonna say the willing well
I was just about
of
to say, isn't
Coheed.
that a song name? The
Oh,
Willing
Curtis, it's
Well?
not just one song name. It's
It's
five
several, isn't
song
it?
or
Yeah.
four song names.
Yeah.
Because Good Apollo ends with that cycle. It's the willing well. One is fuel for the feeding end. Two is from fear through the eyes of madness. Three is Apollo 2 telling the truth. And four is the final cut.
Right.
So but I will say one, two, wow, they're all great. That cycle is pretty amazing. Yeah, that
Well, that was
cycle is pretty
quick.
amazing.
1, 2, they're all great.
Yeah, they're all great. I say that, but
That was terrific. I
I
love that.
listened to them all just earlier today
Yeah.
and stupid good. Did you
Stupid.
did you get a chance to listen to Silent Earth yet?
I've listened to the beginning. I'm gonna finish it this week.
Okay.
Um, love what I'm hearing. Love you put me on the spot and I can't think of what the song is called. So I'm gonna pull up my old Spotify. Okay, I love this is stupid. It's the name of the title, moron. The second song, "In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth." Dude, that's such a good song overall.
Yep.
There's something about the way he sings oh crap, that's not what I want. Hold up. I'm trying to bring up the lyrics here real quick. There's something about the way he sings. I guess you could call it the chorus part, where he says, "The truth be told, the child was born." When he starts to sing, "Man your own jackhammer" and "Man your own battle stick," just the way he sings that, dude, is like, "Oh, that's so good, man, it's so good." But then I didn't realize because they don't really do much screaming on like, I mean, probably most of their stuff, right?
They what?
Like the screaming, they don't do a whole lot of that overall, do they? Throughout their discography?
Not a lot. It's just kind of
Yeah.
sprinkled like
And
here and there.
it threw me off when they started to do that in the song because I couldn't remember them ever doing that, and I enjoyed it. And I with this song I really enjoyed that. Like I mean, it's 8 minutes long, and it feels like it ends and like it's going on to the next song, but it's like they come back in with that same riff
Yep.
that began the song. It's like oh, so good, man. But yeah, so
Yeah.
far so good. So far I like what I'm hearing.
Curtis,
And
if
yeah,
you
this is
love a good like lead riff that is going to be so epic and you're going to be sad when it's gone, don't worry. It's coming back.
it's coming back. Okay.
They
Okay.
always come back. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that about bands when they bring back riffs like that.
Yeah, and
That's
there's a
good.
lot
Nice little
of
callbacks.
because this is all one big story and it kind of skips around a little bit. So 2 through like 5 are all in chronological order. And
Right.
then Year of the Black Rainbow is the prologue. Like that goes back to the beginning. But
Okay.
that was the 6th one that came out.
Okay.
So yeah, so that one like goes back to the beginning. Then there's like 2 albums that are the Armory Wars, like this whole other thing that was a part of all this. And so there's
I was
a
about to say, have
bunch
you
of stuff going
listened
on,
to
but
every single album that they put out?
no, I listened to the Afterman, like both parts of that, and then I don't think I've listened beyond that.
Okay.
So that was like around Year of the Black Rainbow, I kind of started to fall off a little bit. So, because No World for Tomorrow doesn't hold up. Like it doesn't, the climb is so big with from Second Stage to Silent Earth to Good Apollo, just up and up and up. And then No World for Tomorrow, it was like they almost had nowhere to go. So
Right.
it feels like it doesn't hold as strong as the others, but also it feels like the production on that album is a little weird and that might have thrown it off a little bit.
Hmm. Okay.
But
That's interesting.
uh well, that's cool. I'm glad you're liking this one so far. There's a lot of good stuff towards the end of this one too. I think one of my favorite songs on this one has always been Favor House Atlantic. So that's a good one. 2113 also is like it's kind of a creepy, like weird song to finish out the album. But you're feeling it overall, like the music, the vocals.
Oh yeah, I always enjoyed his vocals,
Okay.
and I always knew that Coheed was a big musically driven. I mean, obviously just him in general, the vocalist and the guitarist. I mean, it's insane. It's almost like it's borderline um Fall of Troy with the way
Yeah.
he does it. It's like, I mean, it's not as fast and everything, but I mean, there's times probably I'm sure they can dish it out, but I mean, it's just amazing that he can do the vocals the way he does and play the guitar the way he's doing it, you know?
Right. This is not just
Um,
like playing rhythm guitar,
right. Yeah.
you know. They
Yeah.
essentially have like 2 lead guitarists and he's one of them.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. It's one of those bands that, they were always around in my mind, but like I never had that craving to just be like, yeah, I want to put on a Coheed and Cambria album. So I feel
yeah.
like now is kind of a good time to circle back around. I mean, who knows, Josh? Maybe they'll make an appearance this year on the History of the Course podcast. Who am I to say? It's not my podcast. I mean, I'm just one half of the podcast.
That'd be a 3-parter.
3-parter, maybe a 4-parter,
Yeah.
5-parter.
A long
Uh,
one.
yeah. So
Well, sick.
what's that other one you got there? What's that? That
I
Orcast, good Joe.
Forecast, good Joe. Yeah, I had to when you told me last week that the new album had finally dropped, I had to listen to the new Forecast album. And I really liked it,
Oh,
but
but
my one little caveat was, well, first I would have liked to gotten more than 8 songs. I did not realize how
right.
short it was. I would have
Yeah.
liked to get maybe 2 or 3 more. But I didn't like how God, I always forget her name. Their bassist.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name is.
She's
But
not as prominently featured, I feel like. I mean, you can hear her vocals in a few places, but you got to really strain to hear
not
that.
like, yeah, what it used to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
They used to do a lot of like echoing each other or like back
Hmm.
and forths, And I don't know what the reason for
Well,
that
there
is.
was there was even times that she took the lead, on some different
Yeah.
songs here and there. Um, yeah, I feel like a studio album needs to at least be 10 songs long. That should be a requirement. It has to be at least 10 songs.
Yeah.
8 sounds like an EP,
Yeah.
like a unnecessarily long EP, but an EP.
Yeah.
Hmm, okay. Okay. But
Yeah, I
overall, you
did.
liked it, right? Though.
Yeah, I did like it. But after I listened to it, I went back and listened to Late Night Conversations because I was like, yeah. I was like, I want to hear, the
Want some
best
classics, man.
version of this band. Yeah.
Classics. Ah, some
But
good
also
stuff.
too, I thought, okay, this is good summertime music for sure.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
would throw this in a mix with like some Daybreaker.
Right. Ooh,
So
that's a good. I might have to listen to that EP again, man. Did they only put out one Daybreaker?
there's another one that I'm pretty sure is them because there's many bands called
Mm.
Daybreaker. I don't know if you know that.
No, I
There are
did
many
not.
bands out there called Daybreaker. There is a full length that I'm pretty sure is them, but the EP is really that's what I think of when I think of Daybreaker.
Looks like they have interesting. I don't know because I've been burned by this before with Spotify. It says they have 3 full-length albums that all came out before the Northbound Train. I don't know if this is the same Daybreaker though.
The See the World from Here, that's not right.
Okay, I didn't think
But I
so.
think As If by Magic might be. Actually, no, I don't think so.
No, that's not them. And then there's one other one from 2003, Comes to Us All. Let's see.
I mean, that can't be right. That's 8 years
No.
before.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like they had this one album and that was probably it. Let me
Yeah.
go to Yeah, I've there's been a couple of times, I don't know if you've ever had this problem before that Spotify will do that where well, me and Eric talked about it with Vanna. There's some, I don't know if it was like foreign or whatever, but just in like the last couple of years it said, "Oh, Vanna put out a new song." And Eric was like, did you know they put out a new song?" And luckily it wasn't them. It was just Spotify kind of got it messed up or whatever, but
Hmm.
uh,
What
no.
about you, my friend? What did you listen to this week?
Well, I want to see. Hold on one second. Let me I want to see if they had anything else here. But you're not helping me. Not you, but guess I might have to put this on the back burner. One more spot. I'm looking at one more spot here real quick. See if I can find anything. Melodic punk band from Boston. Okay, it looks like they, at least on discogs.com, looks like they have 3 things credited to them, and they're all like EPs or so they've got Northbound Train, and then they've got looks like a split with American Scene. That was the same year, and then 2 years before that was a demo. So they must have just like split. I almost wonder if like this was a group that was like a side project of like other bands, you know?
Yeah, I really don't know anything about them. I mean, I saw them, they were opening for Stick to Your Guns and The Story So Far. And that was the
Okay.
first time I ever heard. Though, I mean, that was the story so far was touring. It was their second album, but it's their big one, Soil and Dirt. And
Okay.
so that was when people started like, at least out of, where they're from, kind of started finding out about them.
Right. Okay, so I can't remember if I've told you about this band before. It's called Middle Class Rut.
Yeah,
It's a duo, but if you listen to their music, there's more than just the two guys in it. I mean, obviously they've got like studio works,
classic.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Um, but I still enjoy their music. They do write some good stuff. These are their first two full-length albums. Um, you've got No Name, No Color, and then you've got Pick Up Your Head. Both really good. I recommend both of them. They've got, I think, one or two more full-length albums in recent years. I haven't gotten around to listen to those yet. Um, Probably, I don't know. Probably my favorite song off of No Name No Color is probably their first one, which is Busy Being Born. That's a good like pump up, get you going for the day, get the blood pumping through your veins. Um, and man, Middle Class Rut, there's just like banger after banger after banger after banger. But they're both really good. I just like I said, I recommend listening to both of them if you haven't gotten around to listening to them yet. And I know you and I have talked about some different duo groups. What was the one? They were on the radio for a while there. Um, I think they were from England, and it was a drummer and then a bassist. I can't remember
Um,
what their name is.
they have a song. Do they have a song or an album called Brothers?
Ooh, that I don't know.
Because I think I know who you're talking about. They like kind of look alike, right? They're like both blonde,
Oh,
I think.
oh no, 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 no. This is somebody else. Um, duo rock bands real quick. The White Stripes. Um,
Meg White was a woman.
man. Oh, jeez. Might be Giants. Man, this is
Yeah,
gonna
but
kill
the
me.
White Stripes, the Black Keys,
Royal Blood.
68,
Royal Blood.
Royal Blood. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
remember
know the
them?
name, but I'm not really familiar with them.
I remember you used to like some of their stuff because we talked about it before.
Royal
Um,
Blood. Let me look them up real
yeah.
quick.
I don't remember. I remember you telling me about an album of theirs that you really liked, and it kind of surprised me because I wouldn't have thought that you would have liked it, but um,
An album?
yeah, I thought so. I thought that you were telling me about an album one night. Like one, I remember it was like one day you and I were like longboarding or whatever, and we were like chilling out afterwards, and I thought you had an album playing with them. I could be
Hmm.
wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of another band.
I mean, it looks like their first full length wasn't until
So
2014.
14. Yeah.
What songs were big? Do you know?
Um, let me see.
I mean, they've
Last
got a
album.
song called "Figure It Out" as their top played.
Yeah, I wondered if that was because that sounded familiar. Oh, blood. Okay, let's see here. Du-du-du-du-du. Yeah, that was a big one. Out of the Black. Out of the Black sounds kind of familiar too. Little Monster was the bigger one that I really enjoyed that they would play a lot on the radio.
Okay.
'Cause it just had like a nice like driving beat. I
Hmm.
don't know some of his other stuff on
This
their like top plays, but
this music sounds like something that you would hear in the background in like a Blade movie
yeah.
or like anything where they also play like Chevelle or like, like I think Constantine, anything like that. What was the other band that guy from Chevelle was in?
Oh, I don't. Another band that he was in?
Yeah, it was like kind of like Tool. They were big.
I don't remember that.
Oh man, we're never gonna get to
Hmm.
Paramore. Hold on.
Who? We're talking about who? There's so much to talk about with Paramore, man.
It
Um,
wasn't not Crossfade. There was another one. Oh, Perfect Circle.
oh, was he in Perfect Circle?
Um,
Are you sure? The guy from Tool
he,
was.
I thought it was.
No, Manyard, however you say his name, from Tool was the vocalist of Perfect Circle.
Yeah, what am I thinking of?
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
Because you're talking about the vocalist, right? Of Chevelle, the guitarist vocalist.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're a band anymore, Chevelle. But I saw the last time I saw, yeah, they're down to two guys now, which is kind of weird. But um,
We're
okay.
Chevelle.
Chevelle. Let's see. Rock band, Chevelle. Mm, I don't see anything else about taking over to them, laying all back to me, playing some. Da-da. I don't see like any
Maybe I was
reference to
just
like him doing anything else.
right. Maybe I was just thinking of like the Tool crossover.
Maybe so. Hmm.
I did have one more thing to say before we got started.
Yeah,
I
go for it.
watched an episode of The Downbeat where they interviewed Courtney and what's his face from Spiritbox.
Hmm.
And I did hate them a little bit less after the interview.
Okay.
I don't know, like you only, you know, unless you're getting an interview, you only get what you're shown on stage and through their music. And I wasn't really feeling it. I was more into I Wrestled the Bear one, so it was more like
Right.
Krista's the vocalist. Um, so yeah, I just hadn't really been the biggest fan overall. It's just a little too digital for me. So after the interview, yeah, I felt like I liked them more, at least as just
People.
yeah.
Your music
Yeah, for
sucks.
sure. Um,
Okay. Okay.
and I mean, what the hell do I know? It's like they're saying on the
Yeah, what do you
show
know?
that they're, biggest band in the world problems. Like,
Oh
like
God.
everybody wants a piece of them. They have like, some of the highest charting numbers. So
You want a piece of us? Come and get it. Speaking of another high charting band in a different genre, let's finish our look at the band known as Paramore, Josh. You want to? I've
what a
been
great
dying.
segue.
I've been dying. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Half of that was me, half of that was you. So
Mm.
for the win. What, you're thinking more 75-25?
No, I was just glad to get credit.
Oh, okay. Well, you're the one that brought up the Spiritbox, so and the numbers such. Anyway, alrighty, let's finish our look at the band known as Paramore. We've wasted enough of your time. The appetizer is done. The salads, be gone with them. Bring on the meat. Alrighty, when we last left off, the band had released Brand New Eyes. All that fun jazz about Josh Farrow being butthurt about some stuff came to light, and of course, there's some stuff too that the rest of the band members said, yeah, it's kind of true, so on and so forth.
Disgraceful.
Um, disgraceful. You should be ashamed. So here is our current lineup as we start this episode. We got the trio of Haley Williams on vocals, Taylor York on guitar, and Jeremy Davis on bass. Now, despite losing the Farrow brothers, the band promised that they would continue on and would release new music soon, which would see the band take a slight, just a slight genre change while still keeping the core of their original sound. Now, the band soon after would release their first track to not feature the Farrow brothers, entitled Monster, which was featured on the Transformers Dark of the Moon movie soundtrack, while also releasing their brand new EP 2011 Singles Club EP by Fueled by Ramen Records, produced by Rob Cavallo. Contains the songs Monster, Renegade, Hello Cold World, and In the Morning. I will say they still got like that driving kind of like punk sound that they had before, that pop punk sound, But there is some hints of like, okay, we're starting to kind of branch off a little bit. Did you hear that too? What? What? What'd you say?
Oops. Yeah, like I was saying at the beginning of the
I should just let you
episode,
keep going. Dang it, what have I done?
just nod along, just nod and smile. Yep. What a crazy
What?
take. Yeah, like I was
Wow.
saying at the beginning of the episode, looking back, it's a much more like gradual change, It never, I feel like, is just all of a sudden completely different. It's an evolving thing until they get to this is why. Like,
Right. It's not a hard right.
yeah,
It's a gradual branch off. So
yeah.
all right, so we got the Singles Club EP. The next year was spent after that in the recording studio preparing for the release of their first full-length album as a three-piece band. That album is 2013's Paramore, self-titled, by Fueled by Ramen Records. Produced by Justin Meldal Johnson, who has done work with Young the Giant, Tegan and Sarah, Jimmy Eat World, Beck, St. Vincent, among many other bands. Now, this is the final album for bassist Jeremy Davis. Get the hell out of here, you and all your problems. This
Every
album,
time last episode too, you mentioned a couple times like Jimmy Eat World. And every time you do, I cannot like I love Jimmy Eat World, still listen to several of their albums like pretty consistently.
right?
But I met this guy one time who told
Oh
me
no,
that he like knew a guy who did a lot of like music interview stuff, and he said that he did an interview with him one time and he will stop an interview if you call him Jim.
weird.
Yeah, or maybe it was the opposite. I can't remember if it was like,
Jimmy,
yeah, if you call him Jimmy because he goes by Jim, I can't remember. And God knows if this story is even true, dude, but just the thought of him being like, no, like,
you do know where this is taking me now in my mind, right? When you
you will
say Jimmy,
address me as James.
but you do
Jimmy?
realize where this is going, Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy was here yesterday. Today
Yeah.
is Sunday. Minus 1 day is Saturday. So he's already here. He's already came. He already came by. Jimmy was Jimmy. Okay. Jimmy was this was Jimmy. Jimmy was off the hook. Okay. Off the hook.
I just love how calm Eric is through the whole thing.
He's just like,
Like every question he's asking him, he's just like,
yeah,
no.
no. It already happened. Look at it's gotta be like one of the best like Tom Green moments. I mean, he's
Oh,
one of
for
those
sure.
that's like he's either got really funny moments or he's got really like okay.
My other favorite moment with him is in Stealing Harvard, where he's on the phone and then when he goes to hang it up, like at the end, he's like, basically tells the person on the other end he's going to kill their entire family. Then when he goes to hang up the phone, he's just like smashing it over and over and over for like so long.
If you're wondering what we're talking about the skateboard movie, Grind, not to be confused with the pornography movie. But
Of
anyway,
the same title.
I'm sure. I always feel weird like telling people, be like, dude, you should go see this movie called Grind, and be like, no, it's not what you think.
What's it about?
What's it about, man? It's a skateboard movie. Oh, are you sure about that? Is that just like the story that they're going with? Anyway, yeah, that's a good movie. Tom Green. I'm trying to think. There's some other guys that are in it too. I mean, of course, there's a bunch of skateboarders and everything like that. Great soundtrack though, right?
Oh,
Right?
amazing soundtrack.
Amazing soundtrack. Anyway, let's move on here. Final album for bassist Jeremy Davis. This album features session drummer Ian Rubin, who has done work with Nine Inch Nails and Angels and Airwaves. The album was described by the band as being a quote statement and a reintroduction of the band to the world and to themselves. Debuting at number one, Josh, on the Billboard 200, selling 106,000 copies in its first full week of sales, while also topping the charts in Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Ireland, the UK, and New Zealand. We're worldwide, Josh. We're worldwide. 3 years after its release, it was certified platinum, selling over 1 million copies. And Josh, did you know the original artwork features the three members, Williams, York, and Davis, but has since been changed to just a shot of Williams with her back to the camera and the phrase "grow up" on her jacket, as it has been speculated that this is a reference to Jeremy Davis's departure and eventual legal disputes with the band. We'll talk about those legal disputes here in just a little bit. Annie Zaleski of avclub.com wrote in her review of the album, quote, "In the last few years, the dominant narrative surrounding alt-pop superstars Paramore has been the criminous 2010 departure of founding members Josh and Zach Farrow. The focus on this drama has often been to the exclusion of the band's music, which is frustrating. Over the last decade, the members of Paramore have grown from gawky emo punk kids into mature musicians with diverse influences and plenty to say. The constant rehashing of this schism is especially galling in light of the band's self-titled fourth album, which shows significant and compelling songwriting growth. Paramore's core sound, well-crafted pop rock with a punk edge, is merely a starting point for the record. Across these 17 songs, the band piles on and assimilates a smorgasbord of styles. M83-like synth ambience, the end of Grow Up, girl group Sass from One of Those Crazy Girls, steam-rolling noise roars, the joy formidable reminiscent Now, and jubilant punk, the skank-worthy Ankle Biters. Producer Justin Meldal Johnson and studio drummer Ian Rubin ensure these explorations never sound too polished either. Even the most straightforward songs, the spunky 90s pop of Fast in My Car, no doubt like Mash Note, Still Into You, and keyboard-aided powered pop of Daydreaming, feel looser and grittier. Above all, Paramore never feels beholden to the group's history or to expectations. The band members respond to this freedom with ferocity. Jeremy Davis's Cure-like bass on the post-punk highlight Part 2 is electric, while guitarist Taylor York slashes through song after song with confidence. Firecracker vocalist Hayley Williams also lets loose, hollering like a country pop star. She channels Kelly Clarkson and Dolly Parton on Proof, crooning like Morrissey, the stinge-laced brood hate to see your heart break, and even pulling a Mariah Carey, the early 90s R&B pop romp Ain't It Fun, which also features a gospel choir. The album's lyrics have an emotional lightness even as they tackle heady topics: becoming a woman, shedding toxic friendships and past baggage, fighting for what you believe in, granting forgiveness, and striving for happiness. Songs on this album include Fast in My Car, Now, Grow Up, Daydreaming, Interlude, Moving On, Ain't It Fun, Part 2, Last Hope, Still Into You, Ankle Biters, Interlude, Holiday, Proof, Hate to See Your Heart Break, One of Those Crazy Girls, Interlude, I'm Not Angry Anymore, Be Alone, and the finale, Future, with a couple of bonus tracks, Escape Route, Native Tongue, and Tell Me It's Okay. Self-titled, Josh. What say ye? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Interesting. Really?
I do really like this one. I was gonna say that it kind of sucks a little bit that as much as she's fought to, and that they've fought to be, we're a band, not just the band for a lead lady.
Right.
Most of the people I know who like Paramore would probably still be into the band and her and whatever she decided to do, no matter who was in the band. Like if everybody's gone and she throws all new people in there, I still think most of the people I know who
Oh,
like
yeah.
Paramore
Oh,
will
yeah.
still
Well,
be into it.
I mean, we always talk about people in bands that are kind of like, I mean, like either the face of it or the driving force. We talked about with like Zayo. It's like Dan is Zayo. Even though there's different pieces like Scott being kind of a leader in the second half or Jesse in the first half. Um, Gerard Wade really it feels like, I mean, they've got good music for My Chemical Romance, but it really feels like the the band really goes with his lyrics and his vocal style. So, I mean, you have those one or two people that really feel like they stand out. Or when I say, a Paramore, I mean, immediately you think of Haley Williams. That's the first person I think of.
Yes, but it
So,
is rare. I feel like there are a couple of bands that we've talked about where you could pull everybody from the band besides the one main, and it would sound pretty much exactly the same.
right.
But it's rare, and I feel like with her, it would probably work.
Yeah, I think
Like
so.
she would probably still be able to make that work.
Yeah, I think so. Did you, okay, so remind me again, because we talked about it in the last episode. Remind me again, when did you get into Paramore? What album was your first one? Was it Misery Business, or did you start from the beginning?
First album was Riot.
I mean, right, that's what I meant, not Misery Business.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I had heard a few songs from um All We Know Is
all we know is
Falling.
Falling. Okay, so from so basically you start from the beginning. So have you kept up with them when every album has come out, or did you get to a point where you kind of like lost track of them, and then you came back and there was two new albums, so you went back and kind of listened to them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so the self-titled I heard within the first couple weeks of it coming out.
Okay. Was did
Uh,
it feel like a kind of a culture shock at all? I mean, it doesn't feel like it's, we talked about this a little bit ago. It's not a hard right. It's a branch off. It's a slow branch off. So it's not like it's all of a sudden here's something brand new and sound change wise, but did it shock you at all with what you were hearing compared to the last full length of Brand New Eyes?
I don't think it really shocked me. I mean, the sound is gonna change, so it wasn't beyond what I was expecting this to
Okay.
kind of.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't, if they had put out After Laughter, after Brand
Oof.
New Eyes. That would have
Yeah.
been jarring.
Yeah.
You would have felt that. But this is a really good transition album
Yeah.
from the old sound to the new sound. It's a really
Right.
great bridge.
That's what I was
And
gonna say. They do a good job, I feel like, of blending where they've come from with where they're about to go. I mean,
yeah,
of blending like Brand New Eyes and After Laughter, those two genres of like intertwining it on this album, you know.
yeah.
Um, I was also going to ask you, I was when was listening to it this go around, well, let me back up. All three of these albums that we're going to talk about, I haven't listened to any of them all the way through until doing these notes or whatever. I had heard like some of like the singles, as they had come out over the years, but never really listened to like the albums all the way in full. So this is my first time listening, front to back on all three of these albums. But when I first put this one on, listening to like I think it was all the way, I don't want to say it was around maybe trying to think if it was Daydreamer or maybe after the first interlude. It felt like those first several songs, and I don't know, maybe if it was just like the headphones I was using, maybe or something. I don't know. But it's like I could tell the guitar was there, but it felt like it was more in the background, and the bass was kind of like the driving force. Did you notice that at all, or is that just me?
On where?
So like the first, I would say three or four songs, it felt like the guitar was kind of hidden in the background, if at all. And the like I could hear bass like being as the prominent instrument besides drums, but so I didn't know if that was just
Yeah, I
like I
mean,
said, my headphones or what. Because it was
no,
kind of
it's definitely more bass heavy. Like the
okay.
guitar is just kind of backing it up more than
Yeah. That was just kind of
normal,
interesting to
but
me because like I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, is this what it's gonna sound like for the rest of the album? But then it transitioned out once you got past like interlude and you got into like Ain't It Fun and beyond it's like it switched. It's like I could hear the guitar coming through a lot better. Like now it's the driving force.
yeah. I mean,
So
I feel like that's intentional.
okay.
And they also do I mean, they're a lot more bass heavy going forward. So after laughter, I mean, I immediately think of the um bass line from Hard Times, the slide like intro,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Sorry, I was taking a drink.
very good.
I need
Um,
water. Yeah.
did you notice the callback song in this on this episode or on this album?
Uh I feel like I was which one is it?
You were a disgrace to the Church of the Seventh Track.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, I was wondering if this is part two, right?
Yes.
My counting was right. I was wondering because in my notes I did put that it's like they kind of went backwards on that song, where it was kind of like a callback, at least for like style wise that I heard. Is there more callback that I missed?
And lyrically,
Okay,
it
what's
has like several of the same lyrics in it.
from what?
Let the Flames Begin.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, from
I was
Riot.
like, oh, okay. And I may have read that somewhere because when you said that, it was like, okay, that sounds familiar. Like there was some connection, but okay, okay.
I mean, it's no Gardener 1, 2, and 3, but
What do you think about the interlude tracks? That ukulele.
um oh, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that's just kind of you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of Say Anything. Or no, not Say Anything. Never Shout Never.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, that's what it kind of makes me think of.
Oh God. Oh
But yeah,
boy.
I don't know. I don't mind it, and especially like, they're just like little one-offs.
Did you know that they ended up releasing an EP after this album with just those interludes on it?
Really?
Yeah. It's like a cash grab to me, bro.
Is it
I mean,
the
it's
nope,
the
that's not
holiday
it.
EP.
I'm not seeing it on Spotify.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see.
Nope, doesn't exist.
Not real. Fake. Wrong.
Is
Fake news.
Joy her sister?
Who?
Haley.
Joy Williams? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's on Hate to See Your Heartbreak. She's
I
got a
don't know.
feature on there.
I thought she was an only child. It's a good question.
Cousin, mom.
Brother, sister, second cousin. Okay. Yeah, it was something. Okay, so let me see how much was released. It was some okay, it was a record store day promotion for record store day in 2013. They only had like 700 copies of it though, but it's yeah, it was just it's just all three of the interludes all together. It's like okay, it's 3 minutes. The whole EP is 3 minutes and 31 seconds long.
Oh, okay. And you said there were only like a certain number of copies released.
Yeah, there was only 700 copies just for Record Store Day in 2013. But
Okay.
yeah, I was kind of like, yeah, it's interesting, but all right. Um, what was I gonna say? Overall, I like this album. Personally, it started out slow, not like the music, but just like my interest in it was kind of like, okay. But for some reason, it really picked up around Grow Up through the rest of the album. I don't know. For some reason, those first two songs just like didn't drag me in.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's a good
Okay.
album.
This says that they are not related. They just have the same last name. But then they've been friends for like 15 years. She's another like singer-songwriter. It says that she used to be one half of a band called the Civil Wars.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah. It's like was that not? Maybe I'm thinking of a different. I think the guy that's in Civil Wars always kind of made me think of Jack White though. Um Jean Paul White. Is he related to Jack White?
Jean-Paul White.
Jean Paul White. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, cool. Do you have anything else for self-titled, Josh?
No,
Mm,
I applaud its easy transition into the new era.
it's great. It's terrific.
In a couple weeks,
Yeah,
this is
they
where we will clap.
yeah, this they've done a good job. They did a good job of the transition. So all right, the band would head out on their biggest tour yet in support of their latest album release, consisting of 189 shows in total, spanning across the world. The world, Josh. We've gone global. After touring had ended, Jeremy Davis would leave the band and soon after would file a legal dispute claiming to be eligible to enjoy the benefits of a business partnership with Haley Williams as a co-owner of the band. This was quickly dismissed, and he was again involved in another legal battle with Haley Williams and Taylor York over a breach of contract, entitling him to ownership and authorship of songs on their self-titled record, including Ain't It Fun, and again claiming to be eligible to enjoy the benefits of the earnings that you receive from these songs on the album. A year later, after legal filings, Davis would reach a settlement with the band in May of 2017. Now, for Williams, this period of time after the self titled tour was a dark one, as she later revealed that she suffered from depression and mental health issues following the departure/legal battles involving Davis, as well as a divorce with her ex husband, Chad Gilbert, who is the guitarist of Newfound Glory. Williams also later revealed that she had privately stepped away from Paramore to focus on herself, describing this time as, quote, torment, while also mentioning that she, quote, didn't laugh for a long time. But in the midst of all the legal battles with Davis, Williams and York carried on, announcing in January of 2016 that the duo was in the process of working on their fifth studio album. Later, photos uploaded to the band's social media pages surprised fans, showing former drummer Zach Farrow in the recording studio. Whoa, he's back! He's back for another album.
Dude, he did. I told you that, right? That at their show, they let him like midway through the set play a
Do something like
song
his stuff,
from
right?
like his solo thing. It was
Yeah.
like one song, but that was like the one part that I was just like, I could not give a fuck less about this. Like,
All right, guys, we are contractually obligated to let Zach play one song from his solo stuff. So let's
here
get it
you
over
go.
with.
Here you go, Ringo. We'll play your song that
Oh,
you wrote.
jeez. Wow, that's great, Ringo. You want me to put this song right up here, right up on the refrigerator. Love it. Love it. Okay, so he shows up playing drums in the recording studio later, being confirmed by the band that he had returned full time, just in time, Josh, to release the band's next work.
Oh,
Yes.
just in time to cash that check.
I gotta get that money from 2017's After Laughter from Fueled by Ramen Records, produced once again by Justin Meldal Johnson and guitarist Taylor York. Debuted at number 6 on the Billboard 200, selling 67,000 copies in its first week of sales. Now, Josh, that's a big drop off from their last album, which had 106,000 copies of sales in its first week, down to
Eek.
67,000. Any idea what may have happened there?
I mean, this is another 4-year gap between albums. Because it was 4 years from there to the self-titled. Um, the news is out there. They were a duo up until, right before they decided to
A
launch
cash
this
grabber.
thing.
Give me the money.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, people might have started to kind of lose faith in the band at that point. You got to look too, I think, a lot of times when you're comparing albums from different years, what else came out like at
True.
that time,
Yeah.
and not just even within the genre, like across the board, what was
Right.
coming out. And if, let's say, Drake dropped an album, a couple months before this one came out, yeah, it probably got overshadowed, especially in like the pop light.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
So there's going to be, you got to look at those things because people focus in.
This is true. Yeah, this
I
is
don't know
true.
how well this album was promoted. I don't know if if they kind of, I don't know what the singles were or anything, or if there even were any singles. Was Hard Times a single?
Yeah, I think Hard Times was. Other than that, was Rose Colored Boy. I don't even know if
I
that
don't
one
even know if that
was.
one was.
Yeah, maybe Hard Times was the only one.
Yeah, so I
Hmm.
don't know how well this was promoted. Plus, a
Hmm.
lot of they do have a big carryover of old fans,
Yeah,
but there's also going to be a lot of old fans that were only into the old stuff.
right.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that could contribute to that. ask yourself, did it matter? Because they've come back like so much
Well,
stronger.
and the other thing too is like even though it started off kind of weak,
I mean,
like
Chris,
sales wise,
we're
they
talking on an album that is barely 7 years old on Spotify, 500,000,000 plays.
sheesh, we're coming for you, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, with 20 million monthly
Well,
listeners.
and it's later going to be certified gold in the US for selling over 500,000 copies. So, I mean,
Probably a lot of
nice
people
little
like,
rebound. Kind of tentative
nervous
at
to give
first,
it
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
give it a chance.
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted to
true.
ask you, you said that only the two of them, Williams and York, got um production and writing credit on the album.
On this album,
Yes.
I believe Pharaoh did too. I think he recorded with them. It's like,
Oh yeah,
I,
but because immediately made me think of like Metalocalypse, where they're like, "Why don't we get any writers credit?" It was like, well, because you don't write anything. Well, yeah, but I record the bass, and it's like, yeah, well, I go back and record it over you because it's so terrible.
oh,
Like,
dang, man. That's harsh.
so I didn't know,
Um,
I assumed him coming in so last minute that they had probably written between the two of them a lot of the drums for this album.
yeah. They give him writer's credit on several of these songs. Well, at least three. Well, three of them they do.
Okay. I mean, they might have had a lot of
Um,
it put together already themselves.
yeah, yeah.
Like, hey man, we
Um,
couldn't come up with, or
there's
we haven't come up
a
with
foundation.
for
Yeah,
the drums yet for Told You So. So could
right.
you, start working on that?
Yeah, it looks like they've at least given him credit on Rose Colored Boy, Fool, and Grudges.
Okay.
So, but yeah. Okay, yeah, carrying on. This album is said to be a departure from the band's pop punk and alternative rock sound, turning out more of a synth pop and 80s new wave sound while touching on the themes of exhaustion, depression, and anxiety, which in turn is a direct contrast to the upbeat and vibrant sound of the record. Little yin and yang, maybe? Little yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. In an interview with iHeartRadio, Williams talked about the album title meaning, saying, quote, "After laughter is about the look on people's face when they're done laughing. If you watch somebody long enough, there's always this look that comes across their face when they're done smiling, and I always find it really fascinating to wonder what it is that brought them back to reality. It's reality. That's what brought me back to reality. I said reality." Leonie Cooper of NME.com wrote a review of the album stating, quote, "Emo Kids eyeliner will be even smudgier than normal this week. Because of their fifth album, Tennessee alt rockers Paramore have finally fully ditched the serrated guitar-driven angst and the baggy trousered alt awkwardness and taken a swan dive heart first into a big sunny swimming pool full of old school pop bangers. Haley Williams might have heavily hinted at the band's new direction on 2013's power pop leaning Paramore album, but After Laughter comes over like the earnest, fist pumping soundtrack to a long lost John Hughes coming of age film. No longer is this band to file alongside My Chemical Romance, but rather the glossy likes of Haim, especially, excuse me.
Don't you do it with the mic on.
No, I muted the mic. Gosh, man.
Okay.
That one did not want to come through. Okay. No longer is this a band to file alongside My Chemical Romance, but rather the glossy likes of Haim, especially when the sassy hand claps and hair flicks of Forgiveness kicks in. The nods to their punk past are few and far between, coming through only on ska-inflected bounce on Caught in the Middle, which brings to mind early No Doubt and the moody, marauding No Friend, on which Haley takes a timeout and lets Aaron Weiss from Philadelphia Rockers Me Without You holler grumpily. like an old man. Ugh, get off my lawn. But that's certainly no bad thing unless you're really, really attached to 2006. With its perky marimba album opener, Hard Times sets the scene perfectly. A synthy, tropical offering that's as cheery and comfortably brash as a Hawaiian shirt worn out of season. It's possible to
Like
hardly
behind
even.
you.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard. Let's see, where did I go? When I see it, it's possible to hardly even notice that the lyrics are about being in a damn shitty mood. Walking around with my little rain cloud hanging over my head, and it ain't coming down. Told You So is similarly sprightly, but with an equally glum outlook. For all I know, the best is over and the worst is yet to come. More sonic therapy comes via the addictive Grudges, which feels like a turbocharged take on the Bangles, and Bouncy Pool, while there's whispers of classic rock heroines' hearts in the dreamy power ballad Forgiveness and string-laden 26. Catharsis is never usually this joyous, but sometimes smiling through the pain works better than crying. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Songs on this album include Hard Times, Rose Colored Boy, Told You So, Forgiveness, Fake Happy, 26, Pool, Grudges, Caught in the Middle, Idol Worship, No Friend featuring Aaron Weiss of Me Without You, in the finale, Tell Me How. Hey Josh, trivia question for you. What is my favorite song on After Laughter?
What is Told You So?
Ooh, no. Want to
What
try
is
again?
Rose Colored Boy?
Ooh, no. Want to
What
try
is
again?
Hard Times?
Ooh, no. Want to try
Is
more
it
time?
Jackal? 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 Is it Jackal?
Oh, man. uh,
I don't
I
know.
don't,
Caught in the
I
middle?
don't, I don't want to say, well, that's a good one. That's a good poppy beat, man. Yeah, no, they're all good. Um, I don't want to say it's my favorite, but I do love me some Aaron Weiss, bro, of Me Without You. I
Oh
do
yeah.
love me some Aaron Weiss, man.
Is that
And
on
I
Tell Me
do,
How?
no, it's no friend.
Oh,
Second,
okay. Yep, yep, yep.
yeah,
Okay.
second to last song. I
Yep.
do like how, well, first off, Idol Worship kind of starts with that background music a little bit. I mean, you kind of get like a little bit of that. Um, I don't want to call it a riff, but you know, I'm trying to say that ends up playing in the background of No
That
Friend.
melody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
melody. There you go. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. But I do like me some Aaron Weiss of Me Without You, man. Um, this is a fun album. It's fun. It's great. It's fun. It's upbeat, at least music wise. Obviously, it's very, like I said earlier, very yin and
Lyrically.
yang,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Because what you hear musically, you're gonna hear differently with when you start reading the lyrics. It's like, oh God, not like terrible, but yeah. Okay, I may get burned for this comment from you. I don't know, maybe not. I listening to this album musically, I get okay. Are you familiar with the Australian singer Sia?
Uh-huh.
I get like early Sia album vibes just musically. It's kind of like this kind of like playful like toy xylophone type kind of bouncy music.
Okay.
And I don't expect you to get that reference, but I mean anybody that might know what I'm talking about, that's how I felt listening to it. I was like, okay, okay, it's interesting. Um,
Yeah, I think I talked a little bit last episode about how their later stuff has kind of a pop funk island kind of feel to it. It's
we
just
island living.
yeah, and it's like you were saying, it's those xylophones and some of
It's
the
like
stuff
the
that they're
little,
kind of
yeah,
experimenting with.
the little toy instruments, that you have when
Yeah,
you're a kid.
it has gotten hard to define. like
Yeah.
exactly what's going on there. I mean, I know I like it. I just, yeah, I can't exactly nail down what we're doing. And I was talking with Liz about this the other day about how we were watching the music video for the cover that they put out for Burning Down the House.
Burning down the house. Yeah.
Um, and after it was over, I asked her, I was like, okay, well, when we saw them live, they had a full, it was like seeing Panic at the Disco. Like when I saw Panic, it was like, yeah, the band. But then by that point, he also had like a group of backup singers, and then he had a horn section, and then through part of it, there was like a strings section. So
Yeah.
at a certain point, it's like, okay, well, is this the band now? Like, are they all of these people? You know, like I realize these like three or four people are probably writing most of the stuff, but is this band 10 people now?
Right.
I'm into it. I'm into it.
I like it.
Yeah.
But I want you to define it for me.
Did I ever show you that band, The Sights?
I don't think so.
I
Doesn't sound
saw
familiar.
them, they opened for Tenacious D when I saw them. And so I kind of figured they would be like a joke band too, you know, like a comedic band of some kind.
Right.
And but no, they're like totally serious. And they were
Okay.
pretty good, but they had a lot of guys out there. Like there was a guy playing piano. There was at least two or three guitarists, bassist, drummer, vocalist, and then they had somebody doing, I want to say like maybe either maybe violin. I know there were like a couple other people out there. So they had like a pretty large group too. But I remember thinking, I was
Sure.
like, man, that's a lot of people on stage right there.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting.
I'm into it. I just, I want to
Is there a
know if
limit
this
though?
is,
Is there a limit for you though?
it's whenever
Do you,
you're saying there's not enough
I was
didgeridoos.
just about to say, do
That's
you need an army of didgeridoos?
that's when you know you've
It's not
gone
good
too
enough.
far.
It's
Yeah.
not good enough.
If
I
you
think
look in the
that
mirror and
goat
think
has
you
sung
look like
more on the
Johnny
album than I have.
Cash, like it's gone too far. But yeah, I don't know
Just
because it just seems like there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of
not,
people.
it's just not good enough, man. I'm hearing more didgeridoos. An army, 10,000 didgeridoos. Classic. Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And
Um,
I don't know. I'm conflicted. I like it, but I also stand strongly on my age-old, you know, I, I gotta I want the band to be everybody in the band, if that makes sense. I don't want you guys to call yourselves Paramore and be like, oh, we're the three of us, we're a trio. And it's like, well, you're not though, because
that's what you're up on stage, you're like, all right, we're Paramore. Just us three, not those guys over there.
not them though.
Get
Yeah.
away. Take the spotlight off of them. Just us three. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird when that becomes a regular thing. Like they're like, yeah, we're Panic at the Disco. We're these four people. It's like, well, what about the other like 15 people
Who are
on the
those
stage? They
guys?
do every show. Like
We don't know how they got up here.
they're on the albums. Like they're part of the band. Just
They're
say
the
they are.
wannabe
I'm
Panic at the
okay with a
Disco.
20-man band. I'm good with that. I'm good
Are
with
you
that.
okay? So you are okay with the band of didgeridoos, an army of didgeridoos. Just tell me that they're all in the band.
Yeah, they all have to
Every
be in the
last
band
one of
though.
them.
Yeah.
Every 10,000 of them. I want to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um, I think I think some of my favorites on this one are I like the first three. Well, the first four. I like the first four a lot. It bounces around a little bit for me after that. I mean, all of these I listened through multiple times, like the last week, and never skipped anything.
Yeah.
So usually after one or two listens, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go back and listen to the strongest ones on this. But
I think the only song in this block um, studio albums and the EP included that I skipped was Monster. And I was just like, "Bleh." But at the same time, too, like I don't like Transformers movies.
How
So
how good could a movie or how good could a song written for Transformers Dark of the Moon be? You know?
not good, not
How
good.
good could a song written for Underworld Evolution be? How good could a song written for, well, actually they did nail it pretty good with Decode.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And um, Desolation Row, MCR.
Yeah, for Watchmen.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cover, right? But
Yeah.
still, the style that you did in was
Well,
good.
generally though, I would say if the movie's good, then you have at least a better shot.
Oh, okay. I get what you're
But
saying. I get what you're
if the
saying. Okay.
movie's terrible, then you're doomed to fail, you know? That's why I said they
Oh
beat
man.
it with Twilight, you know?
Yeah. Twilight. Uh,
I'm
give
into it
us
though. I'm into the new sound.
give us real quick if you can remember it. Give us your Liam Neeson reading Twilight.
Read
If you
Twilight.
can remember it right off the top of your head.
Hold on, hold on.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, this is one Caught in the Middle is really good. Like I said, Idol Worship into No Friend is good too. I'm just gonna end up naming all of them. I mean, who am I kidding? They're all good. I'm not gonna say that. Well, I'll be upfront. I'm not like this album and this is well even self-titled. All three of these full lengths don't like drag me in. Like they don't because of the style change. I'm just not like into that, but I do they make it work. Paramore makes it work. And we talked about it at the beginning of the episode. It's like it's kind of who they are, you know. They leaned into it. They didn't put on this disguise or whatever and like some bands would and be like, "Well, this is who we are now." And it's like, "No, this feels like natural." So,
Yeah,
give
I'm
it
ready
to
for
us.
you. If you,
Give it to us, Liam.
I've never given much thought to how I would die, though I've had reason enough in the last few months. But even if I had, I would not have imagined it like this. I was surrounded by a pack of wolves.
My name is Liam Neeson, and I have a special set of skills.
For killing wolves.
I will find the wolf.
I feel
I
like
will kill it.
I feel like that movie has become just as like big for Liam Neeson quotes as Taken has, like The Gray.
Right. Right.
Did you ever watch that movie?
No.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna watch it.
It doesn't get ridiculous until like closer to the end. But like the rest of it is pretty like okay, because I've seen like the whole premise is that their plane or helicopter or whatever crashes, so they
Right.
are stuck out there.
Survival. Yeah.
Yeah, and he is the guy who watches over them while they work. So he's the guy they kind of look to for leadership.
Right.
And that wolf pack is like hunting them the whole movie. And I've seen like documentary videos where like they're out there and they're traveling from like one faraway place to another, on sleds and stuff or
Yep.
snowmobiles or whatever. And yeah, the a big ass wolf pack will like hunt you over the course of days. Like they
Right.
just get,
I don't care. Yeah.
yeah, and just to watch like after seeing some of that stuff, I was like, okay, yeah, like the rest of this is pretty plausible. It's just towards the end where it just goes totally off the rails.
You're like, what the heck?
I'm going to have to fight the alpha wolf. Put
Yeah,
up your dukes,
that's
wolf.
that's when you know it's bad. It's like, all right, we have to teach this wolf a lesson. What, you gonna fight it? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Oh, okay. Don't pick up that gun over there. Don't shoot it. I want to see
No,
you fight it with your
he.
bare hands.
I think they don't have because he had a rifle, and I'm pretty sure that was the only gun they had, and so he either lost it or he was out of ammo or something, and so at the end, when he goes to fight the wolf, they have these little like mini liquor bottles and like different bits of glass and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and he
yeah.
crushes them up and duct
Like
tapes
puts it
them
on.
to his
Yeah,
fists. And then that's the last scene in the movie is him like squaring up with the alpha wolf.
Cash
So
grab.
stupid.
Final words, Josh, on After Laughter.
Um, I enjoyed it. I when this album came out, I remember being into it. It's different, definitely, but I like the new sound.
It's
It's
different
great
in a good
dance
way.
music. Just makes you want to dance.
Does, man. It's got a good beat to it. Even with a slight musical change, After Laughter would be met with praise by fans who flocked to their local venues to see the trio perform in support of the album for the next year. During this tour, Josh, it was announced by the band that they would play their hit song Misery Business for the last time. Now, why, Josh? Tell the fans, why would they do this?
It's just because of the horror line, right?
I basically think that's why. I mean, otherwise, it could be the only other thing that I could think of, like when I first heard it, was they're probably just sick and tired of playing it every single night, you know?
Yeah, as a band does.
So,
You don't want to play
I
the
don't want to play
song
these
from when
songs.
you were 15 and wrote it,
Right.
you know? Like it's one of those things. I saw Stick to Your Guns one time and
This
he
is more.
said, yeah, he said they were gonna play
Yeah.
This Is More, but he said I'm gonna do it. But he's like, I just want you to know that I don't want to. And
Right.
he's like, this is, a song I wrote when I was like 16, 17 years old, and it's not, he's like, he just doesn't feel like it translates, like the
Right.
message is still good, but it's just like, yeah, it's like I've grown a lot since then. It's like, guys, I'm like 30 years old. I'm not, you know,
I'm not a child.
yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
to play the stuff that I wrote when I was 16.
Can I tell you something, Josh, in secret? This
I mean,
this
I
is
don't know if
this
this is the best place to
this
tell me a
this is
secret,
off
but
the
all right.
record, okay? This is off the record, okay?
Okay.
They're gonna bring the song back. Did you hear what I said? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, I
They're gonna
heard
bring the
them
song
play
back.
it when we saw them.
Yeah, 4 years later, they're gonna bring it back. So yes.
Yeah,
Obviously
but
she got over that.
she won't say it. She
Yeah.
won't say it.
Would you say, like, when she gets to that point, she's like, I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I mean, just like, don't even say it. Don't even. I mean, did she literally like say during the song, "I'm not gonna say it," or did she just like not say anything?
I don't remember. I'm pretty she made mention of that at some point, but I don't remember if she said it like before the song or if it was during. I don't remember. But it's just that it's that whole thing of like not, you know, shaming other women,
Right,
not
right,
calling another woman a whore.
right.
So, but
It's
yeah,
not
that's
fun.
just
It's
the
not cool.
biggest
It's not
part
cool.
of, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the entire reason there. So,
Right. Okay. After touring concluded, the members decided to take a break from Paramore to decompress and express themselves through other outlets. Haley Williams would be featured on the American football song Uncomfortably Numb, while also preparing two solo full length albums entitled Petals for Armor from 2020, which is an art pop album, and Flowers for Vases Descansos from 2021, which is a folk slash country folk album. And she also put out one EP entitled Petals for Armor, Self Serenades in 2020, which is an acoustic album, which I think is some like acoustic renditions of her first full length. While also focusing on her hair dye company, Good Dye Young, and hosting the BBC Sounds series Everything is Emo. I almost went into a mode there when I said BBC. I almost went BBC slash Netflix hit show, The Peaky Blinders.
the Peaky
Oh, get
Blinders.
out of my head. No.
It's over, Curtis. It's over.
No. Back to
The
the
war
batting
is over,
review.
Curtis. You've got to put it behind you.
Oh. All right. Zach Farrow would continue.
I'll be the Tommy to your Arthur. Wake
Oh,
the
jeez.
fuck up.
I'm bringing those dead bodies with me. They come in these rooms, Josh. Shut the door. Zach Farrow would continue to work. Hey, if you're wondering what the heck we're talking about, go listen to the Red Right Hand podcast covering all 6 seasons. The BBC/Netflix hit show, The Peaky Blinders. Carrying on now, Zach Farrow would continue to work on an already ongoing side project entitled Half Noise, which he originally started after leaving Paramore. With 2 full studio albums released and 1 EP up to that point, Farrow would go on to release 2 more full lengths and 2 more EPs during the hiatus, while also releasing an EP entitled Zafari separately under his own name. Do you know the one song that he played that was his own? Do you know if it was from that Half Noise or if it was? I would almost assume it was probably that one EP Zafari, which was out under his own name, but I could be wrong.
I have no idea. I totally checked out.
All right, bathroom break.
Yeah, I literally was like, they started his thing, and I was just like, just shut down.
Zone out.
Like, yeah.
York would spend his time producing, specifically Williams' debut solo album, Pedals for Armor, while also contributing some art or guitar work as well, along with Zach Farrow. With fans wondering when Paramore would release new music, an interview in 2020 with Williams while promoting her solo work would hint that the band had begun writing and that the next album would be more guitar-driven, stating, quote, "We found ourselves listening to a lot of older music that we grew up being inspired by." In 2022, the band would confirm that they had entered the studio for their newest album, 2023's This Is Why from Atlantic Records. Produced by Carlos de la Garza, who has done work with Bad Religion, All American Rejects, James Eat World, among other bands.
James partaketh of the world.
That's it. This interview's done. Debuting at number 2 on the Billboard 200, selling 64,000 copies in its first week of sales. Now that's dropping even more from the last one. Not by much, only 3,000 less than After Laughter, but
Hey, Curtis.
yo.
I'm gonna tell you a secret now. Okay.
Oh, good. I'm listening. Oh, yeah.
Nobody buys albums anymore.
That's what I always wonder is like, is this well,
I think
but
that's
I wonder...
a big reason we're seeing
Yeah.
like a fall off over the
Okay,
years. Because I bet
okay.
if you look at a lot of the other bands we've covered that go this far, the album sales plummet because nobody buys albums anymore.
Yeah, it's true. Thanks a lot, Spotify. Jerk.
So I think that's not going to be a great gauge for us because this album was crazy well received.
That's what I thought, yeah.
In just a few months, we're already almost at 100 million listens, you know, like
Yeah. Liz didn't buy her a physical copy?
no.
You didn't like it that much? Okay. You're not a true fan then,
Hey,
Liz.
I've been looking at this is a reference back to another episode. I've been looking for vinyl copies of Job for a Cowboy's Genesis.
Oh my gosh.
Those bad boys are pricey because they don't make them anymore and there's not that many out there. But I
much?
still have considered buying one.
How
I
much?
think I remember seeing some for like 80 or 90.
Oh, okay.
And that was like the lower end, I feel like.
Goo! Goo!
Yeah. But how sick would that look on my shelf right over there? So
Sure, I can't see your
put a
shelf,
price
but...
on that. You can't put a price on that.
How do I even know you're looking at a shelf right now?
He could replace my Darth Vader over there.
Bye-bye, Darth Vader. On the sound of the album, Williams would liken it to the band Block Party. Have you ever heard of the band Block Party, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, they used to make the Edges 7 at 7
Oh,
all
boy.
the time.
That's a throwback. She likened it to the band Block Party, saying, quote, "From day one, Block Party was the number one reference because there was such an urgency to their sound that was different to the fast punk or the pop punk or the like loud wall of sound emo bands that were happening in the early 2000s." Alrighty.
Whoa.
All right, Josh, you ready for some JesusFreakHideout.com?
Yeah, what did they say about it?
Nothing. They said nothing because I didn't do a review.
We didn't review this.
We're still waiting for that review. All right. Ems Taylor of ClashMusic.com gave the album a 9. Who? Well, we don't know. Gave the album a 9 out of 10, stating, quote, "It's a disservice to their metamorphosis to call any Paramore album the most anything, given how smoothly we've seen each release come out and occupy the space it was always seemingly meant to occupy within their world. But something about the songwriting on This Is Why are undeniably the most something. Williams' both elegant and sandpaper chorus, depending on what is called for. I'm living in a horror film where I'm both a killer and the final girl. She laments on You First, a subtle and painstaking turn that revels and wrestles with its bitterness. Paramore opt for simple, striking, and forceful on This Is Why, keeping in that new wave tradition of punchy phrases iterated and reiterated through vivid guitar counter melodies, offbeat punctuation, and pointed lyrical looping of lyrics that go beyond verse, chorus, searing each song's character into your mind indelibly. The divide between spiky, assertive delivery and more subdued, intimate inflections is sharp, with little occupying the middle ground. Williams is ready and willing to take aim at men abusing their power. Well, 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 look at you. Don't you clean up nice? You keep your head high, smooth operator in a shit-stained suit, in big man, little dignity. Her words ringing out with sardonic, stunning assuredness, despite that surgery melodies they weave. Similarly, Figure Eight's dizzying, liquid beginning, very After Laughter-esque production falls into a subtle maelstrom of some of the heaviest, most straightforward guitars on the record as the vocals are buffeted around the song. But when Williams goes introspective, the sonic divide flares up. A lot more wary to share, it seems. The musicality invokes the door into her psyche, just left ajar as much as her singing does. Crave joins the canon of Paramore songs about growing up and moving through life as one of their most frenetic, frustrated, and beautiful. You find yourself not quite sure whether you're mourning what you've left behind or looking to the future with fervent excitement, but you're feeling it deeply, whatever it is. Thick Skull is a considerably harder listen with no lovely resolution in sight, but as Williams luxuriates, trudges through lessons not learned, come on, give it to me. Paramore admit they've not figured it all out and leave us ready for them to grow more. Songs on this album include This Is Why, The News, Running Out of Time, C'est Comme C'est, Big Man, Little Dignity, You First, Figure Eight, Liar, Crave, and the finale, Thick Skull. Okay, so spot on with the Block Party. I don't remember them from back in the day, like you're talking about, making appearances on the Edge. So I had to go listen to some of their stuff. Spot on with it, I believe.
Did you remember them after you listened to them?
No, I know. I still don't. They still didn't ring a bell. But
Banquet was a song that they played all the time on the
their
Edge.
big song. Okay, there was another band that is from Britain that made me think that there was some influence there too, and it's Two Door Cinema Club. Did you ever heard that band?
No.
Okay. They had some mainstream success for just a little bit there. They kind of peaked. But especially with them, to me it's the use of like the higher strings on the guitar and a lot of like that um um oh, what's the word? Kind of like ferocious, like upstroke, you know, kind of like a hard upstroke at times,
Yeah.
in the guitar work, that make me think of bands like Two Door Cinema Club. And there were some others, but like I couldn't like pinpoint like names right off the top of my head, but like kind of in that that British indie rock pop genre.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if you kind of got the same feeling or not, but
I
um,
mean, I can definitely hear the Block Party.
yeah. Um, this is what I'm about to say is one of those where they're all good. All the albums are good, but somebody's got to be last. And for me, this is why is my I'm saying it lightly, least favorite because again, they're all good. It's just a situation where it's like, okay, somebody's got to come in last place, right? So for me, it's this is why is my again, saying it lightly, Liz, least favorite. Oh, look out. Bless you. Oh, he's getting choked. Somebody call 911.
What is it about this one that
I
pushes
don't
it to the back for you?
I don't know. It's just it just didn't hit me maybe as much as the other two. And it may be a deal where it's like I need to listen to it more. Because I mean, there's been albums where it's taken a lot more than just two or three listens to really drag me in, you know.
Yeah.
So it may be one of those where it's like, you know, come back in a year and I'll be like, yeah, this has moved up the rankings, you know.
Okay.
But again, like I said, saying it lightly because it's a situation where somebody just has to come in last place. Because they're all good. I do like it, and I still think that, like we've already talked about several times, they've done a good job of the transition and really making it their own, you know. So
I was just thinking that this time maybe I could come in first. Yeah, but then where would I be? I'd, I'd be in second. It
in
just doesn't
second,
work.
all right, Ricky Bobby. What do you think, Josh, about This Is Why?
I really like this one. I'm probably in the same boat as you. My favorite of the three is going to be the self-titled, then probably After Laughter, and it's not for any particular reason. It's just like something has to fall and last. And After Laughter has me more
After Laster,
with
Blaster,
the
After
the
Blaster.
the bass lead in that
Okay,
album.
okay.
So I really like a lot of the bass stuff in that one. Yeah, and then plus, like for me, my favorite songs on this one are the beginning half of the album. The last half of the album doesn't do as much for me. I know a lot of people that their favorite half is the last half, you know?
Right.
And it really just depends, I think, on what, maybe kind of Paramore fan you are, but yeah, I mean, this is why the news running out of time. Those are my favorite ones on the album. So,
I mean, you brought the lyrics in from running out of
yep,
time. Josh is running out of time. I'm running out of time.
I'm always running out of time.
Yeah, I think you and I agree in terms of the placement of these three albums in this block is I'm the same with you. It's self-titled, After Laughter, and then This Is Why.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I would if I had to pick whole discography on the table, I'm definitely leaning more towards their early stuff because we grew up on that. You know, that was especially Brand New Eyes. I mean, they're just banger after banger after banger, you know.
Yeah.
Um, especially at the beginning of that album. Whew. Um, but and I already mentioned it too earlier that you know the transition they kind of make, it's not really for me, but I do give them credit that they did hit on it. I mean, they made it their own, like I've already said a million times. so I'm not going to say it again. But yeah. Yep. I feel like there was something else I was going to ask you, but I guess not. Anything else, Josh, for their newest album, This Is Why? Say
I don't
goodbye
think
to
so.
Atlantic Records.
I know, yeah, I'm
We're,
interested to
we're
see
released.
what the next album sounds like, because
Yeah.
Curtis, as you know, once a band finally frees themselves from a label and they go out on their own, this is when we get typically the best album.
Well, it's like I broke free of the shackles, and all I could think of was dodgeball with the shackles because I've got
Oh,
them.
I always
Oh
forget that
man,
they're married too.
Ben Stiller and that girl, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, you
Yeah,
think
and then
he's got the shackles?
she plays his wife in Curb also.
Oh, hmm,
But
okay. Alrighty, moving on here. Another successful album brought more awards and nominations, including being nominated for Favorite Music Group at the 2023 Kids Choice Awards. While the music video for their song This Is Why, because children are the future, Josh.
ah,
While the music video for their song This Is Why was nominated for Best Alternative Song at the 2023 MTV Music Video Awards, and also being nominated for Best International Group at the 2024 Brit Awards. This Is Why would win Best Rock Album at the 66th Annual Grammy Awards, while the title track would win Best Alternative Music Performance as well. Soon after the release of This Is Why, the band would start to tease a reworking of the album, entitled This Is Why. Whoa, don't go too crazy there on the album name, man. Don't try too hard now. Are you familiar with this, Josh?
I I could not give a fuck less about this.
Yeah,
I hate when bands do this. Like, I don't want to hear, I wanted to hear you sing the songs, and I did. I got that album. I
yeah.
don't want to hear a dubstep remix of that album. I don't want to hear an album where you go back and feature a bunch of different people singing the songs with you. I don't want to hear reworkings of the songs. I don't want to hear anything like that. I got the album. That's what I needed. If it
I
needed to be
just
reworked,
want
maybe you
the
should have
album.
reworked it before you recorded the album. But
Ooh.
I don't like that. I just think they're lame.
Yeah.
Like, who listens to these? Nobody, I'll tell you, because This Is Why has, like I said, almost 100 million listens already on This Is Why. Um, Nothing on this album crests looks like 2 million.
Okay.
No, there's one 6 million on here. Then there's a lot of like 500,000s. So not a lot of people are listening to these.
Yeah. Bands that contributed to this album are Foles, the Linda Lindas, Panda Bear, Zane Lowe, Wet Leg, Domi, and JD Beck.
What
Remy
is a wet
Wolf.
leg?
I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it. Bartiz, Strange, Romy, Claude, Julian Baker. And yeah, that's it. If you're the opposite of Josh and you want to hear that, go go listen to it then.
Go check it out.
Go check it out, I guess. We don't recommend it, but you do you. In late 2023, the band's social media pages and website would be wiped clean off the face of the internet. And their upcoming co-headlining spot at the iHeartRadio's Alter Ego Festival was canceled, being replaced by Fallout Boy. What's happening, Josh? What is happening? Quickly, fans began to panic, thinking the band was breaking up. But these rumors were quickly squashed by the band as they announced their label deal had ended and they were now, quote, free agents and would continue on as an independent band. It's time to self release some music, man. I mean, if you thought it was already good now, Wait till they start putting out albums on their own, man. That's when the going gets good. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Asterisk. Yeah.
But sometime, I mean, some of my favorite albums by bands are the one they did on their own in like a home studio. So
Sometimes you get a few from He Is Legend. Sometimes you get a Crimson Corridor and Well Intentioned Virus from Zayo, you know.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens, man.
Sometimes you get to
Speaking,
listen to the color
there you
of
go.
Arsonist
Listen
Get
to
All
the
the
color.
Girls.
There you go. What's a bad one? Can you think of a bad one?
No.
Okay.
I was trying to a second ago. I was like, I
That's why I was
cannot think
like,
of
I
one.
can't think of a bad one. Alrighty. I know a bad one. The newest Cancer Bats album. They put it out on their own.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep.
it was not good. Not
Yep.
good.
Yep. Yep.
Not good. Not good. Alrighty, let's talk a little future real quick here, Josh, before we wrap it up. What do you see 10 years down the road? What does Paramore look like?
I mean, I see at least a couple more albums from them.
And then they call it quits?
I mean, I could see. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. Are we going to do another 6 years between each albums because we're all more focused on like our solo stuff? Are we not going to be working on our solo stuff? Are we going to put that to bed and just focus on this? You know, I
I
don't know.
feel like you're just gonna end up getting more time in between albums. They're still gonna have the band, but you start focusing on other things in your life and it's still there. It's kind of on the back burner, you know.
Yeah.
But you're now in that position where it's like I don't have to worry about a record label breathing down my neck saying, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? We need you to do it. Here's the contract. You gotta do it." You know, you're more relaxed. You can do it when you want to. So,
Yeah, I could see in this new era a possibility of, 2 or 3 albums. I could also see only maybe 1 or 2 albums and, you know, a large amount of singles being put out because a lot of
right,
people are going that way.
right. Yeah.
So
Who knows, man? We'll see. I mean, I
I
feel
just
like
see
you're
what the
at
future holds for
yeah.
Paramore.
I just feel like you're at that point where I mean, why stop? You know, keep doing it. You're at a good point in your career where again, you can release whenever you want to. No pressure. Just do what you want to do, man. You're free. No more shackles. But I've got them. No, seriously. I have them. All right, our current lineup is Haley Williams on vocals, Taylor York on guitar, and Zach Farrow on drums. Any final thoughts, Josh, on the band known as Paramore? Yeah. Really?
We
Oh,
said it a few times
you hate
already.
them.
No.
Interesting.
We
I
said it a
remember
few
you
times
saying hot
already,
garbage.
but they're one of the few like true success bands that I feel like we've talked about. Like, we've talked about some bands that have done well all through their career. A lot of times though that band is not together anymore though.
Right.
A lot of times if you last as long as a band like this has, it's gone horribly wrong somewhere along the way. So, you know, they're one of the few success stories where they're just continuing to thrive in like a new era of the band. So,
Right. Yep. Alrighty, Josh. Let's make our way out the door, huh? Shall we? Let's leave it.
let's go. Let's get the hell
Let's
out of
go.
here.
Let's get the hell out of here. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at is survived by pro for news and the latest episode postings, not just on this show, but our other shows as well. We have the History of the Cores After Hours podcast, where I sit down with my good friend and avid listener of this very podcast right here, Eric, and we talk about the bands me and Josh have already talked about in a more chilled out, relaxed version. And
Horace Jr.
hey, look out. Chorus Juniors coming out with a new episode this week, Josh. Can you guess what band
Whoa.
is about? It's one of your favorite bands.
Arsonist Get All the Girls.
No, we're doing a little Zayo, Josh.
Oh, nice.
A little hour and a half worth of Zayo.
Oh, wow.
Will be on its way out this coming week, so be on the lookout for that one.
Beautiful.
And then the week after that, we've got another one. It's about like 45 minutes long. Cut that one in half. All about the band known as Symphony in Peril. So be on the lookout for those 2 episodes in the coming weeks. We also have the Red Right Hand podcast, which has covered all 6 seasons of the Peaky Blinders. And we also have the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which so far has covered season 1, soon to be season 2 of HBO's House of the Dragon. Another month in the books, Josh. We're almost there. We're almost there, buddy. And hey, what's that thing in Josh's hand there?
You too could be reading along chapter by chapter, Fire and Blood with us
man.
as we wait out the end of this prison sentence known
Please
as
let it
not
end.
having House of the Dragon in season.
Oh boy.
What are we going to be doing
the upcoming
in the new
episode?
season, bud? What are we going to be doing in the new season?
New season of what?
House of the Dragon.
Summertime, hopefully.
No, I said, what are we going to be doing?
Watching episodes?
I'm going to help you. We're going to be moving up our episodes to the night of the episode airing.
I was like, what are we doing?
Before we were doing episodes the following day. Now we're going to be doing them right after, immediate reactions. In credits,
in your face.
I
your
walk
lap.
in here and get on the computer. So
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I was confused on where I was supposed to go with that one, but
were you asking what chapter we were on?
Yeah, I forget what the chapter's called. Is it Time of Testing, or was that last one? This should be Time of Testing.
We are on.
Last one was Surfeit of Rulers.
Yeah, we just did Surfeit of Rulers.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing a Time of Testing, and we're also probably going to be doing
Do not say it.
Triumphs and Tragedies.
Oh my God.
Probably going to be doing them both together. You can join us there at Throne of the Dragon podcast.
Yeah.
Continue.
Throw the dragon. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Lynn Gary. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using. If you want to listen to us and see our smiling faces, head on over to our YouTube page. Just search Is Survived by Productions, and that'll have every episode. Ooh, boogers from all of our episodes. They'll have all of our episodes from all of our shows. How about that? Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up the video. Everybody, wave goodbye to Josh as we say adieu to this episode. And we'll see you in the next series where we talk about the band known as From First to Last. Goodbye.